Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's STORMYBMAN, and I am live and on the move. Shout out to my brother Junior the Truth. Happy Friday. Good morning to you all who have had to rise early to get started on this good day. Coming to you with a little bit of content on my commute to the grind. Listen, I've had an opportunity to have a spiritually moving, highly motivated conversation with the former heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay, the Bronze Bomber, Wilder. Salute to Wilder, salute to his camp, salute to the brother Tay Jones, and most definitely salute to the brother Drew Titan, who invited me on the platform to get a chance to speak directly to the champ. And this had been something a long time coming. I had said I wanted to get an opportunity to speak to champ, and this was perfect. There were conversations being had because there was recently a somewhat of a viral moment of he having been on Talk Sport Boxing, a boxing broadcast from the UK. And the host of that show, Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver, I believe their names are, had both Wilder and Derek Chisora in the studios promoting their upcoming April 4th fight that'll be in the UK at the O2 Arena. I'm sure if you all are following the sport of boxing, you may have seen or even heard about the circumstances that saw Wilder and Jordan having a moment of conversation. It was very disrespectful on Jordan's side, but that's okay. We're not here to talk about that this morning. We're here to talk about champ pulling up on the brother Drew Titan's channel last night, along with his good friend Tay Jones, and he's talking about getting back to a place of contention to become a two-time world champion. Most of us are definitely supporting him in his endeavors, but I have a little bit of motivation to come to you all this morning and give you my thoughts on what we were talking yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to do it, to tune in, I shared it to my page, but it's on the main page of the brother Drew Titan LLC out there. And you know, sometimes it's just very good to be able to chop it up with the fighters and know where their head and hearts are in regards to what their hopes are. And Champ was able to share that with us, you know? And I came away from it feeling very, very good, very much anticipating what's on the horizon. The fact that Champ is going to be taking on Derek Chisora kind of lets us know that this is going to be an action-packed fight, because anyone that watches boxing knows that Chisora is a guy who brings it. That's just his game. He's a high energy type guy that will come in there, and for as long as a fight lasts, Ward Chisora will give the most and get the most out of his aggression, the stamina that he brings, and the punches that he throws with bad intentions. And though he has double figures in losses, he, as Simon Jordan said on that interview, is considered a treasure over in the UK because he is what we would refer to as a blue-collar fighter. And a blue-collar fighter is usually a guy who brings the hard hat and the lunch pail. He goes to work. He may not have the biggest punch. He may not have the most talent. And sometimes he might even come across as a rudderless ship. But he can be very dangerous due to his desire and his motivations. We don't have a lot of that in the sport of boxing right now. We got guys that want to take time out to not only rest on their laurels, but having not achieved much, they find ways to make excuses for themselves, which is why I can be tremendously critical of some of these men, because I know the difference. I know the difference between those who are giving a full-fledged effort as opposed to those who have shown up to collect the proverbial bag. Yeah. Want to take a moment and see who we got in the building here. Shogun 76 is out there. Good morning. Welcome down, Van Houder. Good morning to you. Sawyer Miller is in the building. And let's see here. Roads are a little slippery this morning. Have to pay a little attention to the road so Stormy don't go to sliding and all of that. We got a little snow this morning in the shop. And who is that? My eyes are a little funny this morning, a little blurry. I can't see who that is there. This is a person that got these letters and everything. I can't read that mess. You just put a plain name up there, huh? Don't be coming in here in STORMYBMAN's chat with no foolishness. I keep telling people, hey, you could go some places and they may even let you come in there with no shoes, huh? And they may even let you come in with no shirt, huh? But over here, we practice what's called decorum, huh? And you're gonna come in right or not at all. Del Riv in the building, what's happening? Yeah. See? Can't come in here with your ass out with STORMYBMAN. That's a big no-no. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So the motivations of a fighter like a Chisora, Wilder's going to have to be prepared for that, because not only is Chisora fighting in his hometown, the UK, but though they were supposed to fight well over a decade ago and things just didn't work out, this is an opportunity for them to deliver to fans. There's only 2 years that separate them in age, with Chisora being the elder at 42. And to be able to collect a name like Deontay Wilder, a former heavyweight champion from his era, Chisora, in a fight which he is deeming to be his swan song. He plans to retire after this. It would be a great way to kind of drive a nail in a coffin for Wilder's career, which I said to him last night, he's still has work to do. So, the intrigue here happens to be, what does either man have going into this fight as far as their motivations? What do they have as far as, to get beyond this point? What drives them? And I like the fact that it's taking place under the circumstances and climate and settings that I spoke of, because it could give Wilder something to really shoot for. And as I told him last night, with his work not having yet been done, he has to focus in that way. And I think that he will. Yeah, I think that he will. Also this morning, I got a chance to catch a clip of an interview with Terrence Bud Crawford, where he was on a show with these guys. There's so many of these young guys with platforms and stuff, and forgive me if I don't know their names, but speaking of Crawford's appearance, they were questioning his retirement plans and whether or not there would be a certain amount of money that could get him to come out of retirement. And Crawford had explained to them he has done all that he has intended to do with the sport. And he is going to continue on in his retirement. So these guys question whether or not there is a certain amount of money, and Crawford was like, no, it's another man's era now. It's time. I've passed the baton, which is something great that I heard him say, right? That he's passed the baton. You never heard Floyd say that. You never heard Andre Ward say that. You never heard Roy Jones say that. And my pointing this out is very important, because a man needs to know his limitations. Adrian Viet, what's good? When a man knows his limitations, he can definitely operate with a plan. A plan of attack, a plan of perseverance. The young man who had questioned Crawford and said, hey, so what will do it for you, like 80 million, 100 million or plus or whatever? And he's like, everybody got a price. And Crawford was like, no. And the guy said, well, I would. And Crawford told him, well, that tells us all we need to know about your character. You'd sell out for $1. And as long as you consider giving yourself to the dollar, that means that basically, now these are my words, not Crawford's, you're a whore to the situation, which is very true. I like to hear Bud talk like that, because it tells me that he's a lot more intelligent than the people have given him credit for being. I had said when he announced that he was retiring, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. He's had examples, and he appears to be a young man to me who learns from others. He's had examples of people who've been able to walk away from the sport, not return, and be good in that decision, especially coming off of a certain deal of achievement and respect. Lennox Lewis was able to walk away and not return, even though there were tempest, opportunities for him, and there were also fighters that he could have possibly made good dough, but at the same time defeat them. But it would have been doing nothing more than just padding his stats. And that's great. That's great. Because Crawford recognizes, as he said, he's been doing this since he was 7 years old. And along the way, there should have always been an exit plan. And he has activated his. He stated that he would have loved to retire after the Errol Spence fight. Some people don't understand when someone has a certain amount of value and ethic. They don't understand that what drives you and what brings your success isn't something that they can relate to. And those are the harsh critics that sit back and, the doubtings and the cynical way of looking at your merits and things of that nature. But Bud Crawford doesn't worry about that kind of stuff. He doesn't worry about it. So many of you wouldn't understand where he's coming from while he's doing what he's doing. I like that. Ratchet since 91. What's good with you, brother? Top of the morning to you. This snow is starting to pick up, but the good thing is the city salt trucks are out. I don't know if we're supposed to get a certain accumulation. I hadn't checked that, but as long as those trucks are out like they are this morning, it's going to be an easier day to deal with things. And the temperature is sitting at a ripe and steady 32 degrees. So it is what it is. Modokur Solano Folk says, good morning from Sacramento. Good morning to you. What's the weather like in Sacramento? We got snow in Chicago, and it's no telling how much we're going to get yet, but the way it's coming down, if this persists for a couple of hours, I could easily see a few inches accumulating. I think there's some fights coming up this weekend, but not very high profile guys. But I have a premiere coming in this morning, and that premiere is going to be talking about Caroline Dubois and a fight that she has coming up in April. You see, I like to make sure I get my dibs in on talking about the women of the sport as well, because their side has really picked up as far as what they produce. good fights, quality matchups. And some of these women have the guts of true warriors. I'm talking about Joan of Arc type heading into battle. It's like, it's amazing to watch. Yeah, welcome. I know that Nick Ball and Figueroa. I'm a little disappointed in Figueroa because when he fought that rematch against Fulton, he fought like he had his hands tied or something. I don't know what that was about. But he had appeared on Drew Titan's Stronghouse shortly before his fight with Fulton, the rematch. And we had endorsed him being successful and had great conversation with him. But on fight night, he just did not show up. I don't know. I still don't know what that was about. And when I see fighters go through something like that, because you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, it can be something that they can't bring out publicly. It could be nothing. It could be that they're just flat. It could be a number of reasons why a fighter doesn't perform at their best. So when you have that type of showing, just like Conwell, when he had his last showing with an opportunity in the step-up fight and he failed miserably, I said I didn't want to see him again after that, because he gave one of the most non-efforts that I had ever seen. Another fighter with the alleged appearance of maybe being told, hey, you're not going to win this one, but we'll give you an opportunity for something down the line. I don't like that kind of stuff. And it does happen in the sport. For anyone who thinks that it doesn't, yes, it does. Man, this must be lake effect, because as I get closer to where my destination is, the snow is getting heavier. Yeah. So out by me, it's kind of light, just a little moisture, but now we're getting into the nitty and the gritty. Yeah. So, oh boy. I'm glad there's not a lot of traffic out this morning either, because that means I can drive at my own pace and everything, which, when you get some of y'all's cousins out here early in the hours like this under these conditions, it gets to be threatening and dangerous, huh? Because everybody don't have their cap twisted on the right way. It's just a real simple truth in life. I saw a smash up yesterday. Too damn early to be crashing your car like these two dudes crashed. They were either racing each other, someone was on their phone, not paying attention, and the other person got reckless. Something was going on with those dudes. Walking Down says, that's exactly what I was saying. Okay, which part, Walking Down, what I was saying? Ratchet says, it's snowing in Pittsburgh too. Growing with Soul in the building, top of the AM to you. He says, have a productive day, beautiful black people. Yeah. It's important to be productive, huh? Man, I've been on a hamburger kick lately. Like, not that I've been eating them, but I've been having a taste for a good quality hamburger. I ain't talking about that stuff that y'all eat like from McDonald's and Wendy's, because that ain't, listen, keep that stuff away from me, man. Burger King, nope, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about where you can get a real gourmet burger, steak meat, Angus, fresh bread, veggies on it, you know what I'm saying? Been having a taste for that lately, bro. Maybe this weekend I can find me a spot. Yeah. Find me a spot and get me one of them. Ratchet says, go to Five Guys. Yeah, that's the Derek Chisora spot. He likes to have 5 guys after his fights, and he also presents them to his opponents after a fight. Win, lose, or draw. That's what Derek Chisora likes to do. He kind of picked that up going back a couple of years ago. Five Guys does have good burgers though. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I've tried them. Maybe about 2 months ago, I had some Five Guys. And you know what's funny? 2 months ago, that put us back to what? December? I think that was December. It was maybe 3 months ago. I had gone to Five Guys. It might have been in November. And sat down in there and ate that burger, man. I was like, hey, this is not bad. You know, it's okay every once in a while. You can't eat those like 2-3 times a week like some of y'all, you know, undisciplined folks. You like to get in there and, oh yeah, give me the belly buster. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got flab hanging all over your belt and everything. Then you want to get on line and make certain comments in my chat talking about me. I'm like, man, look at you, huh? Yeah. Anyway. Anthony Bolton, salute to you. What's going on? Growing with Soul says, to get a truly good burger, you got to fire up a charcoal grill. Well, let me tell you something. Growing with Soul, it's snowing, man. And I'm on my way to work. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean when I get off work, I can't fire up my grill. Because you could grill, because the grill got, you know, lid on it and everything. You can do that, but sometimes you just want to be served, huh? And that's how I see it. You know, when they bring your plate out there with them big old steak cooked fries and burgers all juicy and it's big and you have to take your knife and cut it in half. Restaurants that have better burgers than chain places, you know, it's like, I went to Outback one time and had a burger. That was one of the best burgers I had, man, at Outback. I was like, I didn't know Outback was making burgers like this. Otherwise, I would have been there before that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want no steak or nothing. I say, man, let me try one of their burgers. That sucker was bad. I mean, bad in a good sense. It's bad. That was a bad, you know, that feeling. You know what I mean? Growing with Soul says, I feel you, Sensei. I just enjoy being primal, light in the fire in the cold weather. Yeah, you know, it's okay. I've fired up my grill before in cold conditions, but it's Friday, end of the work week for me, man. I don't want to do all that work, man. I don't want to do all that work. I want to sit down and they bring it to me and put the plate in front of me and I say, can I have some condiments, please? Can you bring me some of this? Can you bring me some of that? That's what I like that experience, huh? Being served. You know, that's what a working person, you want that, huh? Shoot. especially when I've been cooking and doing stuff, all the week long, you're getting yourself ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm old enough to remember when a McDonald's jingle was, "You deserve a break today." I don't know if any of y'all is old enough. I see somebody out there that might be. Yeah, but it's like, hey, they used to have a jingle. "You deserve a break today." Yep. That's when they used to serve you, and you used to see it on the sign. Over 100 million served and all of that. Yeah. They don't do that no more. They just serve you, and you don't even know what they serve in half the time nowadays. Yeah. Stormy will say it if nobody else will. See, we got some more people that popped up in here. Daryl Alexander is out there. What's good with you? Oh, we got Chiquila Fields out there this morning. Good morning to you, Queen. How you doing? Appreciate you stopping in. Yeah. Man, this guy, I just stopped for a red light, right? This guy next to me, he was trying to see if I was going to run the light because he was going to do it too. But when I stopped, he was like, "Oh, shit." I hate when people drive like that. They do what they do based on what you do. Man, I'm driving for myself, bro. I ain't out here trying to influence. Del Real says, "Don't sleep on Outback. They also hook up a good steak." Oh yeah, I know about the steak from there, but I'm not, you know what? What's funny is this. I'm not really a big steak eating person. Now, I will eat a steak, but if you were to ask me in a calendar year, how many steaks did I eat? You could probably count them on one hand. I just don't eat them like that. I just don't eat steaks like that. But all this talk about steaks and burgers, it's got me feeling a certain kind of way, man. I'm gonna have to get me something. Yeah. Okay, and just like that, that snow has stopped. Isn't that interesting? That's good. That's cool. That is very good. Daryl says, the local farm markets usually have pretty good burgers because they usually grind their own meat. Yeah. Oh, welcome down. Let me give you your wrench now that you're here. I'm glad I thought to do that. I got a wrench for you. Welcome down, Miss Van Houter. I think that's Miss Van Houter, right? Not Mr. Yeah, I got your wrench in there now. I wasn't thinking of it at first because I'm driving and everything, but I was stopped at a light looking through the chat, and I said, oh, let me give you your wrench, because I had told you when you come to the channel I was going to get that for you. Really looking forward to seeing this young man of yours get out there. New prospect in the works, and the way that I saw him fight in his most recent performance, he ain't gonna be a prospect very long. That young man got some stuff. Yep. He got some stuff. Anthony Bolton says, I only eat the double fish fillet from McDonald's, and it may not be real fish. Hey, McDonald's, man, they have really put themselves in a bad light. I don't like a lot of stuff that's associated, attributed, and produced by them. I don't know. Nope. Don't like McDonald's. In the morning when I go past there, I might get me a drink or something like that, but I ain't really trying to eat that stuff, man. They got the Wiz playing down here at one of the theaters. I should tell Drew Titan, hey Drew, we got to do a Nerds on Culture about the Wiz. Remember that? Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, Richard Pryor. Classic movie with black folks. Yeah. Javani, salute. He says the trust people have in other people feeding them needs to be studied. Yeah, I would agree with that, man, because Black Martial Arts Society, salute. Yeah. What the hell? I'm going to yeah, buddy. Growing with Soul says fast food isn't good anymore. After the 90s, food has changed. No, it changed just before the 90s, actually, bro. Just before. I'm old enough to be able to attest to that. The 80s was when I could last have McDonald's. The 80s. I want to say up to about 86, 87. After that, it's every man for himself. And probably every man that they want to feed you. You know what I'm saying? Because that, you know, that's how them folks are, man. This guy, oh my goodness. Anyway. So yeah, I got the Friday night chop session coming up this evening, you guys. I'll do a week recap, do a breakdown of the fights coming up this weekend. Most of my premieres this week were about fights that are now signed and on the horizon. I kind of like to do that to give people something to look forward to and to, just basically keep them in the loop with news. But if you notice, I haven't done a whole lot of talking on Shakur Stevenson and all of that. They talk about that young man winning over Teofimo, but he basically did what he was supposed to do with Teo. Especially with an unconfident fighter like Teo, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But now it's time to step up and fight some other fighters. Fighters that are good, fighters that will challenge him and give him something really, of a challenge. We have to see. Got a taste for a burger. When I get off work today, maybe I'll get me a burger from somewhere. Here come these folks. Salute to the brother, Junior the Truth out here. What's going on with you? He says, Team Wrecking Ball this way, bro. Hey, man, it's all good. You know what I mean? It's all good. We'll see, though. We will see. I have arrived at my destination, fam. So I'm going to get on off of here. I want to say thank you for tuning in and enjoying my commute with me. And you guys can check me out this evening with the Friday night chop session. It'll be at 8 p.m. Central. Also, go to my post page on my channel and click on the Drew Titans live stream from last night that I shared to my community page. And if you don't want to do that, you could go to Drew's channel. And it's like we had a great conversation. I came in toward the last portion of that and had a great conversation with the champ, Deontay Wilder. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to get on up out of here. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll see you later this evening. Everybody have a wonderful day. Peace.